All right. I believe that through education, children develop the necessary tools to succeed in life. I wanted to be a teacher for since I was in like third grade. I had a teacher who really cared about her students and made like each and every one of us feel special. She went out of her way to do sweet things like bake us cookies, and they were like these big cookies on our birthdays. Um, every single student in the class. She would um, advocate for us, if you were feeling something and you know, they were trying to put you in a different class or a special class or whatever. She's like, okay, well, hold on, let me give them a little bit more attention. Let me see what's going on. Let me talk to them. She made it a point to make or form a bond with each one of the kids. And I saw that and I was like, oh, that's super cool. Why does she care so much? When I asked her one day, like, why does she care so much? And she responded, it's my job to care. And so in my head, like a third grade kid, I'm like, no, it's not. But um, that's how she felt. And she took her job seriously and it meant something to her. And I just thought, hey, like, I want to do that. I want to be that for someone. I want to advocate. I want to make someone's life better because of my presence and what I can do for that child. And so ever since then, um, that's what I've dedicated my life to, becoming that, being that for my students. Um, and things that I do for my kids to make sure that um, that are I guess kind of like mirror or mimic that are my goodie bags. Things are a little different now. You can't really bake for the kiddos, but I do goodie bags for kids that are in my class for their birthdays. I do positive calls, at least 5 each week, just to shine something for my kids. They came to class and they were happy. I saw a smile this week. They were super down last week, but I noticed this. Um, I set aside time for my kids to let them know that I care. Hey, what's going on? What's going on in your life? What did you do this weekend? Just simple conversations like that I've noticed really matter and really make a difference in how they come into the day, and how they leave. Who knows? I've learned in my time, you never know. You're not always going to know 100% of what happens when they leave the school, but when they're here, um, I tell them, like, we're family. These are your brothers and sisters, the other students. You're going to argue. You're not going to like this person. You might not even like me, and that's fine. But we're family, and we're going to stick through it, and we're going to get through it together. And so that's kind of how I run my classroom. We have dance parties um, to celebrate victories or good grades, or good, like, if we have 90% or higher passing an exam or a BWA, let's dance it out. And I'm getting up and I'm dancing it out too. Um, and they love that. They're like, oh my gosh, she's crazy, but she's fun. So I'm gonna, do it with her. Um, the next point was technology. Um, so for me, it wasn't until this year that I learned just how much um, technology is, I guess, betters a learning opportunity. We always use our computers as teachers for ourselves, and sometimes to project things here and there, but it's never been a major tool that we use. So now with the virtual world, it's like our everything. If we didn't have a computer, we couldn't teach. Um, but it has made the options limitless, the resources limitless. Things that I can like post to share with my students, they can see it in real time. They can look at it on their own. They can find things on their own. Quick access. And it's a new skill. Back in the day when I was in like high school, we used to learn typing. It was a class, and I was like so excited to see how many words per minute I could type. And now it's not a thing. Like, the kids don't know how to type. They don't know how, a lot of them, how to navigate things. They know video games. And so that helps when it comes to this a little bit, because, you have to navigate through things, or like, they know Netflix and all of those other apps, but, learning how to type because they have to. to submit some of their things online. So they're gaining a new skill, and that's great because they're going to need it later on in life. When they purchase their own laptops or iPads or computers, that's a skill that's necessary. It doesn't just go away. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a pro in my book. It started off a little rough, a little bumpy, but we finished out strong, or we're finishing out strong, I should say. And they're learning. It's easier now. They're not like, oh my gosh, I don't know where these letters are on my keyboard, and they're learning how to research, which I think is super cool. 2 years ago, I taught second grade, and they had the hardest time with like research because they didn't know how to use the computer. And now like the whole school is using computers. So I think it's just cool to see like, it's a forced learn, I guess. But I think it's awesome that they have to do that because they're learning a new skill and they don't have a choice. So as far as the world view, compassion, human flourishing, behaving legally and ethically. One thing that we do every day is like a mood meter and a check-in the first 5, sometimes 10 minutes of class. And we do like SEL, which is social emotional learning. And so during that time block, and it's throughout the whole school, throughout that time, talk about how you're feeling. Are you in the red, angry, in the yellow, happy, in the green? You're kind of chilling. You're kind of, which is the kids like to say. You're just kind of you're still in a good mood, but you're not like bouncing off the walls, happy. And then the blue, you're sad, right? And then we talk about what those mean, and we have a chart that shows like, oh, I'm feeling, frustrated. Okay, well, where does that land on the mood meter, and why? So that's one way that we kind of discuss those things. We have different, in the SEL block, we have different topics that we talk about. And so compassion comes in, how do you treat your friends? How do you treat other people? Why? Why do you have to be nice to people? Why do you have to treat others how you want to be treated? Why is that important? That's like a block that we talk about. Human flourishing. I think a lot of the topics or the lessons under the social emotional learning help with that. Just to be a better person. We talk about things like not necessarily like within yourself, but things like money. How do you set this budget, or how do you learn how to spend your money? There's a lesson that I really like about, you can afford to buy this, but if you buy this, then later on down the line, you might not be able to purchase this. And so it just kind of grows them. We talk about things like cooking and baking and just overall being a better person and how to achieve that. And we let them know like, hey, your teachers are not perfect. I know you see us and we look amazing and polished, but we're not. We're human, and we want you guys to do better and to be better. And so a lot of times we connect things to ourselves to show them just how human we are and just how like them we really are. Behaving legally and ethically. So there is like a citizenship piece in that SEL block as well. And so obviously most of the worldviews come from or incorporated in that part. But I think that the little mini lessons that we do at the beginning of class are really good for talking about that. I also like to do like lunch bunches with my kids. So it looks a little different this year. But when things get back to normal, and even now, I usually have like maybe 3 to 5 kids in my classroom. We just chit chat. We talk about things, and so I think this would be a good place to push in a little bit more time about how to behave legally and ethically, and human flourishing and compassion, and why those things are important, and what kind of person that they want to be as they get older. So that is all for me. Thank you.